You picked your F-150's engine based on what someone told you, a buddy, a forum, a salesperson, and odds are good that whoever gave you that advice never ran the full repair cost numbers side by side over a real ownership window. Neither did you, neither did I, until we pulled 5 years of actual repair data and put it in a spreadsheet. And what came out was not what I expected, not even close. The engine most people assume is the money pit? It isn't. And the one that gets sold as the sensible, low-maintenance choice? There is a number buried in year 3 of ownership that should be on a warning label. We are going to go through every dollar today. Fuel, maintenance, common failures, the costs that don't show until you're past warranty. And by the end, you will know exactly which engine is actually cheaper to own. But I'll tell you right now, the answer flips depending on how you use your truck. And that twist changes everything. Setting up the fight correctly. Before we get into the numbers, most EcoBoost versus 5.0 comparisons get the setup wrong. They compare base fuel economy numbers on paper and stop there. That tells you almost nothing useful about your actual cost of ownership. It ignores octane requirements. It ignores how both engines behave under tow load, completely ignores the repair frequency data that only becomes visible after hundreds of thousands of these trucks have been in service long enough to build a real failure picture. Here is the framework. 5 categories, real dollar figures weighted by the most common F-150 use cases: daily driving, moderate towing, and regular hauling. We are looking at a 150,000-mile ownership window because that is where the full cost picture becomes honest. Anything shorter, and the EcoBoost looks better than it actually is. Anything longer, and the 5.0 starts revealing its own issues. Both engines have shown enough of their hand at that mileage to give you a fair comparison. That's next. And the first category is not the one you think matters most. Round 1. Fuel, the number everyone gets backwards. You would expect the EcoBoost to run away with the fuel cost comparison. That is the whole pitch. Turbocharged efficiency, direct injection, smaller displacement doing more work. On paper, the 3.5 EcoBoost is rated at 20 miles per gallon combined versus the 5.0's 18 miles per gallon combined, 2 miles per gallon. Over 150,000 miles, assuming $3.50 fuel, that gap looks like $2,917 in savings for the EcoBoost owner. Except your EcoBoost requires 87 octane minimum, but Ford recommends 91 for optimal performance and towing. The 5.0 runs perfectly on 87 all day long. The moment you account for premium fuel on an EcoBoost used for anything beyond light highway cruising, the per-gallon cost goes up roughly 25 to 30 cents. Run that through 150,000 miles, and the fuel savings evaporate almost entirely. The real-world combined fuel cost difference between a 3.5 EcoBoost and a 5.0 on 87 octane, driven the way most half-ton owners actually drive, is somewhere between $400 and $600 over that full window. Not $2,900, $400, across 150,000 miles. That is less than $30 a year. And this is where most people get it completely wrong. They lead every EcoBoost conversation with the MPG number like it is a knockout punch. It is a coin flip at best once you factor in your actual fuel grade and your actual driving patterns. Round 1 is essentially a draw, which means the real fight starts now. Round 2, scheduled maintenance. First surprise, here is where it gets interesting. Your scheduled maintenance costs on both engines are closer than you'd expect, until one specific line item separates them. Spark plugs on your 5.0 run about $180 to $240 at 60,000 miles, including labor. Your EcoBoost plugs run $160 to $200 at the same interval. Call that a wash. What is not a wash is your EcoBoost's cooling system. Twin turbos run hot. The intercooler and turbo coolant lines are a wear item with a real failure history. And a full cooling system service on your EcoBoost runs $280 to $380 at 100,000 miles, versus a routine $120 to $160 coolant flush on your 5.0 at the same interval. Over 150,000 miles, the scheduled maintenance advantage runs $600 to $800 in favor of your 5.0. Not dramatic, but it points one direction every single time. The 5.0 is the lower maintenance engine, and we have not gotten to the failure data yet. Stay with me, because this is where your cost gap starts to matter. Round 3. Common failures. The data nobody wants to show you. This is the round that decides the fight, and it is not close. Your 3.5 EcoBoost has a documented failure profile that every long-term owner needs to understand. Turbocharger failures on high-mileage EcoBoost F150 AS run $1,800 to $3,200 per turbo, and there are 2 of them. The failure rate on first-generation EcoBoost turbos between 100,000 and 150,000 miles, based on independent repair data, sits at approximately 14% for at least one turbo requiring service. When it hits your truck, the bill is not small. Carbon buildup on your EcoBoost's direct injection system is also a real maintenance issue the 5.0 does not share. An intake valve cleaning on your EcoBoost runs $300 to $500, and most high-mileage owners need it by 80,000 to 100,000 miles. Your 5.0's port injection keeps the intake valves washed with fuel on every combustion cycle. Carbon buildup on your 5.0 is essentially a non-issue at the same mileage. But here is the twist. Your 5.0 has its own documented failure point, and the people who sold you on it being bulletproof left this part out. Phase actuator failures, the variable cam timing components, have a documented replacement rate between 80,000 and 130,000 miles on trucks maintained on the factory schedule. Phase actuator replacement on your 5.0 runs $900 to $1,400 depending on which side fails. It is not a question of if, it is a question of when. So here is your 150,000-mile failure exposure in real numbers. Your EcoBoost worst case, both turbos plus a carbon cleaning, runs $4,200 to $7,500. Your 5.0 worst case lands between $1,400 and $2,200. The average case, weighted by documented failure rates, puts your EcoBoost about $1,100 ahead of your 5.0 in total failure-related repair costs over that window. That is the number nobody shows you, and we are not done yet. Round 4. Towing, the category that breaks the tie. If you tow, everything we have covered shifts. Your use case determines which engine actually wins your cost comparison, so pay attention here. Under tow load, your EcoBoost makes peak torque significantly lower in the RPM range than your 5.0. Less throttle input to hold highway speed with a trailer. Independent back-to-back tow tests with a matched 7,500-pound load consistently show your EcoBoost returning 1.5 to 2 miles per gallon better than your 5.0 at 65 miles per hour. Over a year of regular towing, call it 8,000 tow miles, that gap at $3.50 fuel runs $175 to $220 per year in your favor with the EcoBoost. Over 5 years, that is $875 to $1,100 back in your pocket, which chips directly into the failure cost advantage your 5.0 carries. For the owner towing at least twice a month, the EcoBoost's towing efficiency nearly closes the failure cost gap over a full ownership window. But don't stop there, because the towing story changes one more time. High heat towing, mountain grades, sustained climbs, loaded trailers in summer is significantly harder on your EcoBoost turbo system than on your naturally aspirated 5.0. Heat is the primary driver of premature turbo failure. If your towing profile involves sustained high load, high temperature work, your EcoBoost turbo failure probability moves above that 14% baseline. Your use case is not optional information here. It is the deciding variable in the entire comparison. Round 5. The total cost verdict. Here is the full picture. And here is where the title earns its name. For the daily driver who does not tow regularly, runs 87 octane, and maintains on schedule, your 5.0 is cheaper to own over 150,000 miles by an estimated $800 to $1,600 in total cost. Not thousands, not a dramatic blowout, but consistently, measurably cheaper, driven by lower failure risk and zero carbon buildup exposure. For the regular tower on flat terrain who uses their EcoBoost the way it was designed, your two engines come out within $200 to $400 of each other over 150,000 miles. Your EcoBoost's towing efficiency advantage closes the failure gap to almost nothing. This is the only ownership profile where your EcoBoost wins the comparison. And even then, a single bad repair bill erases the margin. For the owner, towing heavy loads in hot conditions with elevation changes, your 5.0 wins by $2,000 to $3,500 over the full window, driven entirely by elevated EcoBoost turbo risk under sustained high heat load. The winner is not who most people assume, and the margin is not what the fuel economy pitch suggested when you were signing paperwork. What to do with this right now? If your F-150 is running an EcoBoost and you are approaching 80,000 miles, two things belong on your near-term list. First, an intake inspection. If your valves have visible carbon buildup, get it cleaned before it starts affecting your combustion efficiency and your fuel costs. At that point, your fuel economy is already down, and the repair is still coming regardless. Second, have your turbo boost pressures checked at your next service. Early wear on your EcoBoost turbos shows up in boost pressure consistency before it shows up in a check engine light or drivability problem. Catching it in your truck early is significantly cheaper than catching it on the side of the road. If your F-150 is running a 5.0 and you are approaching 90,000 miles, get your phase actuator operation checked. It is a simple diagnostic. If there is a cold start rattle that disappears after warm-up, that is your first warning from your engine. Do not ignore it. Catching a failing actuator before it causes secondary damage to your cam timing system keeps your repair bill near $900 instead of $2,400. Your engine is not going to self-report until it is too late to do anything cheap about it. The owners who stay ahead of these windows keep the money. The ones who wait hand it over. Hit subscribe if this kind of straight cost breakdown is what you want more of. And if you think repair costs are the biggest financial variable inside your F-150, wait until you see what we found when we ran the actual private market resale numbers on high-mileage EcoBoost versus high-mileage 5.0 trucks. The spread at 120,000 miles is not what you expect. It changes the math on everything your truck is worth right now. That video is coming next week, and you need that number before you make any decisions about your truck.